You're watching Soulful Discussions.
All right, so hi, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How did we meet today, you and I?
My dog Nutter Bear just started running up and barking at you.
He's like rushing me, man. He's like, man, what's he doing over here?
He's my security.
Absolutely, that's great, man. It's great.
Yeah.
So basically, I approached you about doing an interview afterwards because it kind of came up. Do you remember what the interview's about? I gave you 3 topics.
Reflexology.
Yep.
Oh, meditation? No.
Mental health.
Mental health. There you go.
And feet.
And feet.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm barefoot.
There it is. So let me ask you this: when you hear the word feet, what do you think about?
I think about earthing.
Grounding?
I'm big into grounding. I injured my back 2 years ago, and I come out here every day, and I learned about earthing, so I'd come every day and like sit on the ground, and it would help with my inflammation. And so I always tell everybody, take your shoes off.
Yeah, get that energy back, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. We're gonna ask you a couple of questions about feet today. Just feel free to answer however you like.
Okay.
What about mental health? What do you think about with that?
Oh, we got to do better at just educating and sharing.
I think that's the biggest part, right? Just being open and like I was actually listening to somebody today, the singer Neil. He was doing an interview with this guy named Shannon Sharp, who's like an ex-football player, but he has like his own channel now, podcast. And he was talking about the reason why he's able to write songs the way he is because he grew up understanding how to tap into all his emotions and like not being afraid of that. Like a lot of times we tend to be afraid, especially as men.
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
girls.
Exactly. Well, I think it's mostly men because we tend to like not want to be vulnerable and like want to let our guards down or whatever. And it's like, why not? It's like that's what can make you like more of open to the universe and things like that. So
I think too, going back, I mean, I'm Mexican, and so it was kind of like you don't cry, you don't need to, because it's a sign of weakness, and so even men and women, we kind of go through this too. Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. So we're gonna ask you. We're just gonna talk a little bit about mental health, dealing with depression, anxiety. Just a couple quick questions.
Right on.
Reflexology. You familiar with that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we'll just talk a little bit about that briefly, and then we'll kind of just let things go. Okay. So let me ask you this question first.
Yeah.
First of all, when you think about your feet, right? What do you feel? Like, what is if you were to fill in the blank on that? When I think about my feet,
I feel good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it like? Is it good because of like they take you everywhere and like the ground?
Yeah, they do. They do a lot for me. I mean, they let me enjoy the passions that I love. They get me from point A to point B, and they're important. Like I teach yoga, and I always tell my students, your feet are a map of your body, and so when you interact with the earth, when you give like your senses are all within your toes. You have your vital organs in the base of your feet, and so it's important to take care of every part of our bodies. And I feel like the feet, aside from women getting pedicures, like nobody really thinks about the importance of foot care.
That's why when I go out, I try to give this information because I feel as though, to your point, we don't talk about that stuff enough. Like the fact that these feet can sometimes hold up like a bunch of pounds at the same time. Like when you want to go run, all that shift in motion and all that stuff, that's to hold everything up. And sometimes we don't give our feet enough of that love and that care that it deserves. So absolutely. Just being grateful for like having feet first of all.
I love that you do. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I remember like growing up that my pastor in church, he had this saying. He would tell us this parable about like the guy that was complaining about not having shoes, and then he looked over and saw that there was a guy with no feet. And then it's like, those things put things into perspective for you. It's like, hey man, I might not have this or that, but I have certain things in my life that help me go places, and so be grateful for that.
Yeah, I feel like we just take our bodies for granted until something happens. And I speak from experience because I took my body for granted. I push it and I push it until the point where I couldn't move anymore. And it's depressing when you can't do the things that you love, and you want to do things mentally, but physically you can't. Like And so it's like now I try to take care of myself. And when I feel aches, I try to give my body rest versus taking aspirin, because that's like a quick fix, right? I don't want to feel it, so I just numb myself with something.
Very much.
Yeah.
In terms of like dealing with depression, anxiety, like, is there anything that you have like you would give tips to people who are out there who are dealing with that? Anything that you
breath work, your breath. Your breath is so important, and again, like we just don't pay attention to ourselves. Like when we're angry, our breath reflects that. When we're sad, like when you cry, you're like have a hard time breathing. And so if we just took a time and just took a deep breath, even just 3 deep breaths can make a big difference in how we react, how we respond to people. And it sounds kind of weird, but it's relaxing. It calms your nervous system. So, and it's free. You don't gotta do anything.
I watch a lot of anime.
Yeah.
And in anime, like I noticed that they talk a lot about like breathing and how it's like impactful.
Yeah.
There's one anime I watched called Demon Slayer, and actually like in order for them to be stronger, they have to like learn how to control their breathing, like constantly thinking about breathing. And so I thought that was unique that they put that in there.
Well, it's kind of like meditation, but it's formed in a different way that's not so like hippie with meditation.
Exactly. In terms of like, if you've ever dealt with anxiety in the past, was there anything you did to like cope with it? Like any type of like things that you did to counteract how you felt?
Good stuff or bad stuff? No, I mean, right now it's breath work. And I try to notice my habits, because sometimes when my mind is spinning, what do? You go to things that are comfortable. You eat, you drink, you do drugs. You know what I mean? Like you do that. So it's kind of just being aware of like, oh shoot, I'm going down that spiral. What can I do? And I ask myself like, am I projecting? Because a lot of times when we freak out or have these anxieties, it's not the issue that we have anxiety from. It's like past things that trigger us, that amplify what a situation is. So it's like asking yourself like, is this real? What am I freaking out about? Is there a solution? Because I feel like when we get anxious, it's because we get in a loop, and you can't get out of the maze unless you try to be solution oriented, to say like, how do I get out of this? What steps can I take to get out of this?
Exactly.
You know?
Stick it to the positive.
Yeah.
That's definitely great. That's definitely great. In terms of, let's get into these kind of questions now. In terms of when it comes to your feet, have you ever received compliments from anybody before? Anybody have said to you, hey, I think you have nice feet?
No.
No, not once.
No, but that's okay.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let's say you did get a compliment from somebody. Let's say you were wearing sandals, somebody said to you, I think you have nice feet. How would that make you feel in the moment?
I mean, good. I'd be like, thank you for noticing.
Okay, absolutely. Let me ask you this in terms of the compliments that you've received throughout your life.
Yeah.
Is there a certain compliment that you can look back on and you're like, man, that compliment right there made my day and it made me feel good?
I think it's knowing certain people notice my dedication to certain things that I really enjoy. And I think when people notice progress, because sometimes we don't see it, but from the outside looking in, they can see our journey a little bit better. Yeah. So I think that means a lot to me, to be like, wow, I'm improving. I know I'm improving, but to be recognized for it, I think it gives me that assurance that I'm doing good things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In terms of when it comes to your feet, how often do you wear like open toe shoes, sandals, and flip-flops?
I mean, I'm barefoot as much as I can be.
So you prefer being barefoot over even wearing shoes?
Yeah, because shoes are rubber, and so they disconnect us from the earth. So it's like, I mean, I have these rubber shoes, but like the moment I get on some grass or something, my shoes are off, and I'm walking around barefoot. I mean, sometimes I'll walk around even on the street barefoot, but you got to be careful.
Glass and things.
Yeah.
You know, somebody mentioned to me, and it was the first time I heard this, they mentioned to me about, like, sometimes static. Like, a lot of our bodies carry static and things like that.
Okay.
So when you step onto, like, grass and stuff like that, it removes the static from your body. Like, so
yeah, I mean, it's either electromagnetic or something, but it's like we are two things that charge each other. So it's like it takes the negative ions or something from our bodies and recharges them and gives us nutrients in terms of, like, antioxidants and all these different things that it does for your body. I mean, everything this earth has is for our benefit, right? The sunshine helps with our mood. Grounding helps us connect with the earth and get rid of inflammation and helps with diseases. And yeah, it's like everything around us can help us. It's just us having the patience and knowledge to know that. Yeah.
How often would you say you like do active grounding and active like
every day?
Every day?
Yeah.
Can you describe for the people who are like watching this the feeling that you get from like, man, wearing shoes versus like I'm in grass and I'm just like meditating?
For me, it's subtle. I mean, I felt the difference because I had a back injury, so I was able to feel when I would come here and sit for 30 minutes or so, my body felt looser, I felt more calm. I don't know if it's the energy around here, but I've watched documentaries where they talk about the scientific aspect of it, so I'm a believer and I understand it. All I know is it makes me feel better, and sometimes even if I don't come and earth for a little bit, whether it's touching a tree or something, my body tends to feel
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I feel the same way about drinking water. Like if I don't drink enough water,
you get headache, something.
Like, irritable.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel the same. So definitely gotta make sure I get enough of that in.
There you go.
Absolutely. So all right, now in this moment right now, you mind if we see what your feet look like? Is
Sure.
that okay? Cool. All right, cool. Get a little bit closer. Okay,
don't judge.
No judgment, no judgment. And so if I could describe your feet, I think that your second toe is a little bit longer. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, so that's called a Grecian toe. It's a Greek toe.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of that before.
No.
There's like different types of toe alignment. So if your bigger toe is longer, it's called an Egyptian toe alignment.
Okay.
You have what's called the Grecian, and then there's another one called the Roman, where like the toes are almost the same size.
Oh, interesting. A Grecian.
Cool. Let me have you put your feet out straight like this. Cool, and then toes up like this. All right, so
my feet are dirty.
It's all good. It's all good. We're not judging you. What are your feelings and your thoughts like going through this right now? We've been talking a little bit, asking some questions. Now we're looking at your feet. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it is a little like, I look at myself, I'm like, oh, I should have got a pedicure. I'm a little ashy right here, so it's like,
coming today though, right? So it's like,
so it's making me a little insecure because I'm like, oh, I didn't take good care of them. But I mean, just because they're not painted doesn't mean I don't massage them and do the things that I love.
So like, because in terms, like, if you knew I was coming, of course, like this guy's gonna ask me to look at my feet today, then you probably would have been like, let me make sure that they're polished,
clean,
and all that. But it's not
moisturized.
Like, we you in an impromptu moment. That's what we wanted. So, in terms of like my channel, we deal with exposure therapy, so that's kind of what we were doing right there.
Okay.
I asked you a question to like put you on the spot to see if you
Yeah.
get out of your comfort zone.
There
right?
you go.
You went on and did it. Have you heard of exposure therapy before? And like, do you
More
practice it
extreme,
actively?
more
Okay.
extreme. But yeah, no, I don't think well, I guess I do because I consider myself, at least used to consider myself, a very fearful person. So if somebody would ask me to do something or try something, I'd be scared and wouldn't want to do it, knowing I would, but I'm just too scared to do it. So I think, yeah, throughout, as I'm growing, I put myself in those situations, and one of them was fire dancing. So that was something that I was scared.
I can imagine like just the amount of fear and things that go into first doing that. You don't know,
and even this too, like, you know, in doing an interview, it's like I've never done an interview before, and
so you don't know like what's on the other side. I don't know
yeah,
or anything.
Or weird comments, or you know,
Exactly,
people can be crazy.
I always tell people this. This is something I heard from a therapist. She told me this because I tend to worry a lot about stuff like that, overthinking.
Yeah.
Right, it gets in my way. She told me, she said, if something's not gonna like impact you 5 years from now, why are you worried about it?
That's true.
And so when she told me that, it started like, I started putting more things into perspective. Like if it's something that's simple, like I don't really need to give so much thought into that. Just kind of go through it. So usually on my channel, that's why we try to get to that point to practice some exposure therapy, see if you get out of your comfort zone.
I like it.
Absolutely. So it's really dope. So
right on.
If you could real quick just tell us your experiences with reflexology. You told me you know a little bit about that. What have your experiences been like?
Just because I do preach about your feet, it's just knowing just acupressure points that you could put on your body to help alleviate, or even like for the feet, how we're talking about, it's like if you press on certain parts of your feet and they ache, that correlates to a certain organ in your body, so it can help you understand. But that's like the extent of it, and also like Chinese medicine, but I haven't dived like crazy deep into it.
Yeah, just basically like what you just said, those parts and hands and feet correlating to like different parts of your body, and they basically call it zone therapy. Like if you go into the malls and they have that spot in there, it's like you see the map of the foot and it's just like this area, that area. So it's really dope. For me, when I'm giving people that information, because a lot of people don't even know what it is, and like you said, turn into like pills for, hey man, my head hurts, let me go get some aspirin real quick. And you can do something, probably massaging your feet will probably help you out with that.
It's painful sometimes, but you'll feel better, and it's like we need to learn to treat the root causes of things, and like, and understand too, like everything in our body is connected, and people I think don't understand that. So they'll be like, my knee hurts, and they'll think it's just your knee, but it's like what's happening on your shin, your calf, your thigh, and stuff. And so it's like the more we can understand our bodies and learn these little hacks, the better that we'll all be, and not have to rely on medicine and stuff like that.
Exactly. So with that being said, we usually get to reflexology. I can talk about sensitivity.
Okay.
How ticklish do you tend to be? Like if you go get pedicures, are you really like?
No, I'm pretty good. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you mind if we tested it? I like
sure.
Okay. Now you put your feet up, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna try your right and your left.
Okay.
I want you to tell me the area you feel it in.
Do I have to close my eyes or something?
Huh?
Do I close my eyes?
Oh no, you can do it with your eyes open.
Okay.
Like, whatever works best for you. You don't have to do it one way or another.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna show you a couple of exercises that you can do at home. That's like relatively cheap.
Okay.
Sound good? All right, so feet up. We're gonna try your right first, and then we're gonna see how it goes, and then we'll try your left. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And where are we feeling? So not any sensitivity at all.
I mean, it feels good, but
so
I'm not.
More like a massage than anything.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's try your left. Tell me if this one is more sensitive. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and then where are we feeling over here? Is this one
like right in the arches.
So the arch area for you is like pretty sensitive.
Yeah.
What would you say like the scale is on a 1 out of 10 here, and then what is it over here?
I feel it more on my left or my right.
Okay.
So probably like an 8.
8, and then over here?
Like a 7 or 6, yeah.
Okay, here's what I want you to do. While I'm doing it, wiggle your toes. Tell me if you feel it more or less. Wiggle. Is it more or less?
More.
You feel it more?
Yeah, because I'm paying attention to my feet more.
You're wired differently then. That's what it is. So do it here. Let's see if it's more or less. More or less.
More? Yeah.
You're wired differently. So usually, you're supposed to feel it less. And the reason being because, like, your mind is sending a signal to like do this, right? So it's almost like a distraction.
So you're focusing on this and not your whole foot.
But then also when you wiggle your toes, like for example, I'm doing this, there's energy going to your foot, right?
Yeah.
That energy gets dispersed to other areas, so you don't feel it as much. But you feel it more. So it's like when you're still, you don't really feel much, but then when you start moving, you feel a lot more. So that's interesting.
Okay.
Absolutely. So,
am I the only one that's done that?
No, there's been some other people too. So we're going to do a couple exercises now, and I'm going to have a couple tools for you to try out, okay?
Right on.
So first things first,
okay.
we have you bend your toes, make a fist. Tell me if you feel pain or discomfort when you're doing that. Is that easy to do or is that hard to do?
Easy.
Okay, relax. Spread your toes. Tell me if you feel pain or discomfort. Easy? Yeah, you do a lot of yoga. So
easy.
Okay, easy. Relax. Nice. Wiggle your toes for about 10 seconds. Tell me if you feel pain, discomfort, cramping, anything happening after that.
No.
Pretty easy?
Pretty easy.
He said, whoa. Okay. So now we're going to try 2 tools. These things you can buy at Target. So let's try a tennis ball first. So what you're going to do is just put your foot across it. And you want to roll it from front to back.
Okay.
Tell me what you're feeling when you do it, okay?
Okay.
How does it feel?
It feels good, and I feel like certain parts of my feet are more sensitive than others.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Now let's try your left. Tell me what you feel there. Same thing?
No, this one's less. I do a lot of work with
you are more sensitive over
I'm on the right, yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's try this one now. I want you to tell me what the difference is in the feel there. You should feel this one a little bit more.
Oh, yeah. This one's like
it's like getting into
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that.
And so try that one.
Yeah, this one, not so much. But also,
So, and these are things that you can do that like relatively like cheap. You can go to Target. You can go get a couple balls like this. And basically, it can be helpful for you, like in terms of
Daiso's a good one too, and it has little pokies,
Absolutely.
I use those.
So let's wrap up the interview now.
Okay.
In terms of my approach, when I came up to you and I asked you to do this interview, what do you think my approach was like?
You're super friendly and chill, so I was like, okay.
Appreciate that. In terms of the interview, start to finish, how did you like the questioning? You think it was good?
It was good, and it flowed, which is nice because it's weird when you jump from one thing to the next versus like having it kind of flow smoothly.
Appreciate that. Last thing I always ask, something you can say to my channel that could be helpful. Maybe it's a life lesson you learned, some wise words that somebody shared with you. Anything that you can share that could be helpful. Don't overthink it, just whatever comes to mind.
Oh, just enjoy your body. Do things, move. The more I'm learning about, like, for us to live longer, it's like if you don't move, you lose it. So just move your body, and people think that you have to do it for an hour, and it's like, no, an easy walk, doing some stretching, just moving around, it makes such a big difference. So I think just movement in general is a must.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Definitely appreciate you stopping to do this interview with us. And you too, Nutter Butter.
Yeah.
But we hope you guys have a great one, okay?
Thank you. Peace out.